8 o'clock at night. You close the laptop, your shoulders ache, your eyes burn. You've spent the entire day running from one meeting to another, answering an endless stream of emails, messages, notifications. You've switched tasks dozens, maybe hundreds of times. You feel completely drained, exhausted. But then, a strange and unsettling feeling arises in the silence. You look back at the 10 hours of frantic effort and you ask yourself, what did I actually do today? The answer is an echo in an empty room. You were busy, terribly busy. But were you productive? Did you move the needle on anything that truly matters? Are you closer to your most important goal than you were this morning? For many, the honest answer is a painful no. This is the great plague of modern life. Hustle culture has sold us a dangerous lie, that activity is synonymous with accomplishment. We wear our full schedule like a badge of honor. We mistake motion for progress. And in the process, we've created an epidemic of people who are running as fast as they can on a treadmill going nowhere. What if I told you that the difference between the busy person and the productive person isn't work ethic? It isn't willpower, not even time management. What if I told you the difference is purely neurological? That busy and productive are in fact two completely distinct brain states, two different ways of processing reality, of allocating energy, and of engaging with the world. That the busy person is unknowingly operating from a reactive and primitive part of the brain, while the productive person has learned to deliberately activate the most evolved command center of the human mind. This isn't about character judgment, it's about brain architecture. You are not broken or disciplined. You might simply be running the wrong operating system, a system that keeps you in a state of constant reaction, wasting your most precious resource, the energy of your prefrontal cortex. Today, we're going to put these two brains under a microscope. We're going to decode the neural signature of busyness and the neural signature of productivity. And I'm going to show you how to deliberately initiate the transition from one state to the other. Get ready to discover that the control you seek isn't in doing more. It's in operating differently.
To understand the busy brain, we first need to meet its chief architect, multitasking. Modern society glorifies it. Able to juggle multiple priorities has become a compliment in job descriptions. But neuroscience has a very, very different view. The truth is, multitasking as we understand it is a myth. The human brain cannot focus on two complex cognitive tasks simultaneously. What it actually does is something far more costly. It context switches. Imagine your brain's attention as a spotlight. The productive person points this spotlight at a single thing for a long period. The busy person swings the spotlight frantically from side to side, illuminating dozens of things for just a second each. Every time you switch tasks, from writing an email to checking a message to reading a news story back to the email, your brain has to execute a four-step process that is neurologically expensive. Disengage. It needs to release the rules and context of task A. Shift goal. It needs to say, okay, we're no longer doing A, now we're doing B. Activate new rules. It needs to search its long-term memory to find and load the rules and context for task B. Engage. It finally begins working on task B. This process isn't instant and it isn't clean. It leaves behind what computer scientist Sophie Leroy calls attention residue. Part of your focus is still stuck on the previous task even when you're already on the new one. This is why, after a quick glance at social media, you struggle to get back into the rhythm of your work. Your brain is still partially processing what you just saw. The busy brain lives in a perpetual state of attention residue. Its full cognitive capacity is never focused on a single thing. It's like trying to run complex software with only 30% of your available RAM. The result is shallow work, filled with errors that takes much longer to complete. But why do we do it? If it's so inefficient, why is the busy brain the default for so many of us? The answer lies in a chemical dance between two parts of our brain. The busy brain is largely governed by the amygdala and the mesolimbic reward system. The amygdala is our threat detection center. In a modern office environment, a threat isn't a tiger, but an unread email from your boss, a notification with an urgent sound, the social pressure to always be available. Each notification triggers a micro-stress response. Your brain enters a low-intensity, reactive fight or flight mode. To cope with this stress, the brain seeks relief, and it finds that relief in small, easy accomplishments. Answering an email, liking a post, crossing a trivial item off a to-do list. Each of these actions releases a small hit of dopamine, the neurotransmitter of motivation and reward. The busy brain is caught in an addictive dopamine loop. It becomes conditioned to seek the novelty and instant gratification of small tasks, instead of engaging in the hard, long-term work of important tasks. Busyness becomes a form of productive procrastination. It feels like work. It generates the chemical sensation of accomplishment. But in reality, it's an escape from the discomfort of deep, focused work. The end result is a brain that is constantly stressed from overstimulation and context switching, chronically distracted from attention residue, and chemically addicted to interruptions. And, most importantly, it's draining the battery of the most important part of your mind while producing almost nothing of value. Now, let's enter the control room of the productive brain. The master of this operation is not the reactive amygdala, it's the prefrontal cortex. The PFC is the most evolved part of our brain. It's our CEO. It's responsible for long-term planning, complex decision-making, emotional regulation, and crucially of all, impulse inhibition. The superpower of the productive brain is the ability to use the PFC to say no. No to notifications, no to distractions, no to low-priority tasks, no to the amygdala's impulse to react to everything immediately. The productive person understands, consciously or unconsciously, that the PFC operates like a muscle with a limited reserve of energy each day. They know that every decision, every act of willpower, every context switch consumes this precious energy. Therefore, instead of wasting this energy on 1,000 small reactions, they protect it and channel it toward 1 or 2 high-impact tasks. This is often called deep work, a term popularized by Cal Newport. Deep work is a neurological state. It's what happens when the PFC is fully in command. Activity in the amygdala is suppressed. The brain enters a state of single tasking. The spotlight of attention is fixed, allowing the neural networks related to the task to fire at their maximum capacity. In this state, the brain begins to operate differently. It enters a state of flow, where time seems to disappear. Concentration is effortless. New neural networks are formed at an accelerated rate. It is in this state that learning is optimized, creativity flourishes, and the highest quality work is produced. The productive brain doesn't seek the instant gratification of the small task dopamine loop. It seeks a much deeper and more sustained reward, the satisfaction of creating something of value, of solving a complex problem, of mastering a skill. The dopamine release here doesn't come from answering an email, but from completing a chapter, fixing a bug in the code, or finalizing a strategic proposal. It's a reward of a higher magnitude, which generates a virtuous cycle of intrinsic motivation. The productive person doesn't manage time. They manage the energy of their prefrontal cortex. They structure their day not around the clock, but around the protection and deliberate use of their most valuable mental resource. While the busy brain asks, "How many things can I do today?" the productive brain asks, "What is the one thing that, if done, will make everything else easier or irrelevant?" And then it builds a fortress around that single task. The difference, as you can see, is fundamental. Busy is reactive. Productive is deliberate. Busy is shallow. Productive is deep. Busy is about managing inputs. Productive is about creating outputs. Understanding the difference is the first step. Implementing the change is what creates the transformation. The transition from the busy to the productive state doesn't happen by accident. It requires a system, a protocol to train your PFC to take control. I call it the deliberate single-tasking protocol. It consists of 3 phases: purification, prioritization, and protection. Step 1. Purification. The first step is to get your PFC out of crisis management mode. Your brain can't focus on what's important if it's constantly being reminded of 100 other things. You need to externalize the noise. Grab a notebook or open a document, and for 15 minutes, write down absolutely everything that's on your mind. All the tasks, worries, ideas, emails to answer. Empty your head. This frees up your working memory and calms the anxiety of forgetting something important. Step 2. Prioritization, the master task. Now look at that list and ask yourself the productive brain's question. What is the one thing on this list that will have the biggest positive impact on my goals? Not 2, not 3, just 1. Be ruthless. This is your master task for the day or for the morning. Circling this task gives your PFC a clear, singular directive. It now has its mission. Step 3. Protection, the sanctuary. This is the most crucial step. You need to create an environment where your PFC can operate without being constantly attacked by the amygdala. This means creating a work sanctuary. For a defined block of time, start with 45 or 60 minutes, you go into total lockdown mode. Technology, turn off all notifications. Phone in airplane mode and in another room. Close all browser tabs that are not essential for the master task. Physical environment. Use noise-canceling headphones, even if it's quiet. Put up a Do Not Disturb sign if you're in an office. Communication. Let your team or family know you will be unavailable for that period. During this block of time, your only commitment is to the master task. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back. This act of redirecting focus is literally a strengthening exercise for your PFC. By practicing this protocol daily, you are not just getting work done, you are rewiring your neural pathways. You are weakening the reactive path of busyness and strengthening the deliberate path of productivity. The battle for your attention is the battle for your life. The forces of the digital world are designed to keep you in the busy state. A reactive, distracted, consuming brain is far more...
A mind in constant reaction is far more profitable than a focused, creating brain. To be productive in today's world is an act of rebellion. It is the refusal to allow your mind to be hijacked by algorithms and notifications. It is the declaration that your mental energy is your most sacred asset, and that you, and only you, will be the architect of how it is spent. The difference between the person you are and the person you want to be often lies in the simple choice of which brain system to feed. You can continue to feed the dopamine loop of busyness, ending each day exhausted and unfulfilled. Or you can begin to deliberately train your prefrontal cortex to protect your focus like a treasure.
and to experience the profound satisfaction that comes not from doing 1,000 things, but from doing one single thing extraordinarily well. The choice is not between working hard and being lazy. It's between the fragmented, shallow work of reaction and the meaningful, deep work of intention. The challenge. I invite you to perform a single act of rebellion tomorrow. Don't try to change your whole day. Just reclaim 1 hour. Choose your master task. Create a sanctuary for 60 minutes. No phone, no emails, no distractions. Just you and the most important task. Do that. And at the end of that hour, notice the difference. Not just in the work you produced, but in how you feel. You will feel the calm, control, and clarity of the productive brain. That feeling is your new North Star. If this exploration of your own mind has brought you clarity, join us. Subscribe, because our mission is to provide you with the user manual for your brain that you never received. And in the comments, I want to know, what is the biggest distraction that hijacks your prefrontal cortex? Let's name our demons so we can defeat them. Thank you for your undivided attention. Now, go be the architect.